50 feet below the Egyptian desert. There is a room made of stone so heavy we still don't know how it was moved. The blocks are pink granite. Some of them weigh more than 100 tons. That's heavier than anything inside the Great Pyramid. They sit in the dark, half drowned in groundwater, perfectly cut, perfectly silent. And here's the strange part. Not a single block carries an inscription. No names, no prayers, no kings taking credit. In a civilization that wrote on everything, this place says nothing at all. I want to tell you about the Osireion. Get comfortable. This one has been sitting with me for a while. Archaeologists have known about this place for over a century. It sits at Abydos, one of the oldest sacred sites in all of Egypt, tucked behind the temple of a pharaoh named Seti I. The official explanation says Seti built it. Around 1300 BC, a symbolic tomb, a monument to the god Osiris. But there's a problem with that explanation. Actually, there are several. The Osireion doesn't match Seti's temple. Not the materials, not the style, not even the ground it stands on. His temple sits high. The Osireion sits 50 feet lower, carved into an older layer of earth entirely. It's as if someone built a palace, next to something they found already waiting in the ground. Picture this. It's the winter of 1902. Flinders Petrie, the most careful archaeologist of his generation, is digging at Abydos with a young scholar named Margaret Murray. You might remember Petrie from my last story. He's the man who mapped the foundations of the lost labyrinth at Hawara. The man had a habit of finding things nobody expected. At Abydos, the sand gave way behind Seti's temple and revealed the top of something enormous, buried. Deliberately, or by time, no one could say. As the workers dug deeper, the shape emerged. A great rectangular hall, massive pillars, 10 of them, each one a single piece of rose granite. A central platform, like an island, surrounded by a channel cut for water. A building designed to stand in a moat, 50 feet underground. Murray studied the architecture and reached for comparisons, and found none. Nothing else in Egypt looked like this. The style was closest to the oldest things Egypt ever built, and even then, only barely. The excavators themselves came away believing this structure was far, far older than the temple above it. Older than Seti, perhaps older than the dynasties themselves. That opinion has been quietly argued about for 120 years. So let's talk about what makes this place so difficult to explain. Start with the granite. The nearest granite quarry to Abydos is Aswan, more than 200 miles up the Nile. Every one of those 100-ton blocks had to be cut, moved down the river, hauled across the desert, and then lowered 50 feet into the earth. Lowered, underground, with Bronze Age tools. We struggle to move objects like that today, with cranes. Then there's the cutting. The surfaces of these blocks are flat in a way that granite does not want to be. Razor-straight corners. Joints so tight the blocks seem to grow out of each other. Egyptologists know how dynastic workers dressed stone, pounding it with dolerite balls, patiently, for months. It leaves a signature, a texture. The Osireion doesn't have that texture. And the design itself is wrong. Egyptian temples of Seti's era are forests of columns, covered floor to ceiling in carvings. The Osireion is bare. 10 plain megalithic pillars. No decoration. No hieroglyphs on the Great Hall itself. Just mass. Simplicity. Weight. There is exactly one other building in Egypt that feels like it. The Valley Temple beside the Sphinx. And the age of that building is also disputed. Now, here's the detail that keeps me up at night. Water. The Osireion floods. It has for as long as anyone studied it. The water table at Abydos has risen over the centuries, and today the Great Hall sits partly drowned. Most photographs you'll find online are decades old, because access is now restricted and the water keeps climbing. But look closely at the lowest blocks, in the old photographs, and you'll see something odd. Erosion. Deep, rounded weathering of a kind that geologists associate with long exposure to rain and flowing water. Heavy rain. Egypt hasn't had heavy rainfall since before 5000 BC. That's not a controversial statement, that's climate record. So the question writes itself. If those blocks were weathered by rainfall, when exactly were they standing in the rain? The official date says 1300 BC. The sky over Egypt says that can't be the whole story, so why hasn't the date changed? I want to be fair here, because it's not a conspiracy. It's something quieter than that. Redating the Osireion wouldn't just move one building, it would pull a thread. If this structure predates the dynasties, then someone in Egypt was moving 100-ton stones before Egyptian civilization officially begins. Before the pharaohs. Before writing as we know it there. That's not a small edit to the story. That's a new chapter at the front of the book. And academia, reasonably, demands extraordinary evidence for a claim like that. The erosion argument is contested. The architectural argument is circumstantial. There are no organic remains in the granite to carbon date. So the cautious position holds. Seti built it, strangely, uniquely, unlike anything else he ever built. And the anomalies are filed away as questions for later. Petrie's generation asked those questions openly. Today, they mostly go unasked. The site floods a little more each year. The lower blocks, the ones with the erosion, slip further underwater. Whatever evidence is down there is slowly being sealed by the same water that started the mystery. No body was ever found there. No funerary texts. Nothing that says tomb except the label in the guidebook. The Osireion is still there tonight. Still underground. Still flooding. Still holding its 100-ton stones in the dark, with no name signed anywhere on them. Maybe Seti built it after all, a king reaching backward, imitating something ancient to honor an ancient god. Kings did that sometimes. Or maybe Seti did what we're doing right now. He found something old and silent in the ground. He couldn't explain it either. So he built his temple beside it, and let the mystery keep its secret. Here's the question I'll leave you with. If the oldest building in Egypt isn't the one in the textbooks, how much of the story are we telling from the middle? Sleep on that one. Come wonder with me.